Hey, welcome to another exciting episode of Coffee with Tracey. I am your host, Tracey Osborne. Today, we're talking about something that I really love to do, which is Pinterest. But we're going to talk about how to use Pinterest for your business to generate leads, traffic, and build social proof quickly. And not like me, where I have a really amazing Pinterest closet. Oh my God. So with us today is Maggie Lamarre. And she is a chief thought innovator. She's the founder of the Cascade Avenue Agency, which is a branding, marketing, content, and discovery agency. She loves helping entrepreneurs dominate their niche market. She's been published over 125 times in print magazines. She was featured on PBS, the Public Broadcast Network, and HSN, the Home Shopping Network. I'm sure most of us have been on there at least once. Maggie's been named top pinner by Better Homes and Gardens magazine and featured twice on the Pinterest featured email. That is super cool. So welcome, Maggie. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you so much, Tracey. I am so excited to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
So how in the world did you get started with Pinterest? I mean, I'm sure most of us got started with Pinterest kind of doing the same thing. Oh, there's a recipe. I like that outfit. But how did you really get started using Pinterest for business?
Actually, it's a very long story, but I'm going to make it very short. I've always been a crafter. I've always been in mixed media. So I've been published as a mixed media artist. So when I was in Utah for a conference and I was working for this company as their brand ambassador, and I was supposed to speak. And the event organizer came up to me and says, "We have to bump you off." And I'm like, whoa, I have a really good talk. So you really don't want to bump me off. And then she says, well, we have Ben Silverman here who is going to be introducing a new platform. It's called Pinterest. And so far they have close to like 180 users on there. So she introduced me to Ben. And I started talking to Ben and he was telling me about what Pinterest was. And I was like, oh my God. Because I have to tell you the story. Before Pinterest was around, there's a site, it's still around, it's called Caboodle. Have you ever had a friend who's getting married and they go to Bath and Beyond or they go to whatever store and then they register for their wedding? Yeah. And then they send you the wedding registry and you go and select whatever it is that they want out of their registry. Well, this whole evolution came from Caboodle. Caboodle is the site that introduced gift registry. So gift registry didn't exist as you know it today. So it started with Caboodle, but Caboodle had a lot of flaws. So when Ben came in and started telling me about Pinterest, I was like, oh my gosh, this is Caboodle on steroids.
Right.
And we started talking about Caboodle and the things that I wish that Caboodle had. And those are the things that he was talking about that he would like to incorporate with Pinterest. And I was like, oh, I mean, I gotta learn more about it. Then he connected me with Victoria, who was a blogger, who's still a blogger in San Francisco. She's very well known in the blogger world. And she contacted me and sent me an invite. And I could see right then and there, I could see what Pinterest could be just from the fact that from Caboodle. So that's how I started with Pinterest.
Wow, so you've been on it since day one almost.
Oh yeah, there were close to like 180 people. I mean, that was less than that, but it was in beta, so it was by invitation only. And so on. So the reason why you see that the core value of Pinterest is all about crafters, recipes, decorations, and so on, that's who embraced Pinterest. So the core of the pioneers that came on Pinterest, we were nothing but DIYers and bloggers and home decorers and everything in between. So that's how I started with Pinterest. I told you it was a long story, right?
No, that's really cool. That you've been in it almost since the inception. So you've seen the evolution because it's changed a little bit since the beginning, I would imagine. I came on later, of course. I'm always late to jump on the bandwagon. I always wait and watch. Okay, is this one going to take off or is it going to go quickly? You know. But yeah, so that's kind of cool that you've been in there since the beginning. How has it changed?
Oh gosh, it is an evolution that goes on every single day, every single week.
I'm sure.
Because of the fact that it took a while for them to really establish themselves. When the mass media started embracing Pinterest, they started calling it a social media, which Pinterest isn't, because Pinterest is just a evolution of Kabuto. Kabuto is all about getting people together, things that you are thinking about, things you want to do in the future, and collecting things that are of value to you, which is the exact same thing that Pinterest is. Pinterest is all about what you think, you want your future is going to be like, and you're seeing it right here, right now. So that's what Pinterest is. Pinterest is a search engine. So
I kind of
people are
think of
just
Pinterest as
starting right now to embrace it.
Right. I kind of think of Pinterest as an online vision board.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to use it as kind of a vision board. So I know for me, I've got a couple of boards that are one's for social media and one's for great articles. But I don't use it for business very much at all. I use it for my fitness, my body, or my bodybuilding and weightlifting, clothes that I want to be able to wear one day, bikini, those kinds of things. But I also have motivational quotes, and I have fitness quotes and things that really keep me going, recipes, so I use it like that. But I know a lot of people use it for business. So why should businesses even be on Pinterest?
Let me start by letting you know that you're not the only one. Practically, most people start that way, and then they start seeing the lights. The lights start going. It's like, aha, I'm seeing the light. So the reason why business should really be on Pinterest. So I'm going to give you a couple of stats and stuff. In 2015, Cyber Monday. So we all know about Cyber Monday. That's when all the brands and everything have really great specials similar to Black Friday. Right. So Pinterest alone had directed over 40% of the traffic to businesses, which result to $15 billion in sales. So This is really all I have to say.
Now that you mention it.
Unless you don't want a part of that. But this is the statistic that business really, really need to pay attention to. There's over 150 million users on Pinterest.
Okay.
1 out of every 3, not out of 10, not out of 7, 1 out of 3 pins results in a sale. The average income on Pinterest is over $200,000. So you have a dedicated target market that are ready to buy. When people go on Pinterest, just like you just mentioned yourself about clothes that you want to purchase one day, people are collecting things. Well, wouldn't you want your ideal target market? People say all the time, oh my God, I'm looking for high-end clients. And they think that those high-end clients are collected in some special area, but you know what? High-end clients is everywhere. But on Pinterest, you really do have that target market because of the fact that the disposable income is to over $200,000. And your target market, their education level is at a college level. So when you compare Pinterest and with a social network like Facebook have over 1 billion users, but you have users from all over the planet, and their average income is $35,000. So when you compare that, so people on Pinterest, when they are purchasing, the average purchase on Pinterest is $148. When you compare that to Facebook, which is $78, then the math give you the reason why you should be on Pinterest.
For sure.
So it doesn't matter what I say, just look at the stats.
Yeah, for sure. And and it got me thinking. I have one client who has an e-commerce store, and we have his stuff up on Pinterest. We pin his recipes and articles and things like that. And Pinterest is one of the number one drivers to the website for sales.
I gotta tell you that Pinterest is really a traffic controller. That's what Pinterest is. So what it does, it's like you go to the airport, you're gonna go somewhere. You go to the airport, you take the plane, and the plane takes you to wherever you're going. So Pinterest is a traffic controller. That's what I call it, because of the fact that all it does one thing, and it does one thing very well, better than any other network out there. It sends you traffic.
So do you find that it works better for people with products rather than service-based?
Tracey, that is a really a myth that's been going around. And I'm so glad that you brought that up because you know what? We're going to debust that myth. Because Pinterest really, like I said, it's a traffic controller, right? So what it does one thing and one thing very well. It sends traffic. So it doesn't matter if you have a product, if I don't have a product, I don't even have a book, Tracy. So I'm doing really well because I am an entrepreneur. So what I teach, I'm a service provider, but I do not have any physical products. So
Right.
whether you have a physical product or you're an entrepreneur or you have a digital business, it works. There's only three businesses that doesn't do well on Pinterest. And by doing those, you are going to lose your business. You're going to lose your account. You're going to be banned. So the three ones that doesn't really exist, doesn't belong on Pinterest. Like on Instagram, you're going to see all these exist on Instagram, but Pinterest is a self-governing platform. So you're not going to find escort on Pinterest. You're not going to find naked people on Pinterest. You're not going to find that like you find on
Oh
Instagram.
man, and I was heading over there right after this, just for that reason.
You're not going to find any of that stuff, and
Right.
you're not going to find the porn industry on there. And then you're not going to find any armed dealers on Pinterest. These are the only businesses that you're not going to find on Pinterest that
Sure.
doesn't really belong on Pinterest. But outside of that, remember, Pinterest is still in its infancy, so it's wild west going on. So there's no reason why no one should be on Pinterest.
So what's the number one thing that someone that's just starting out needs to know about getting on Pinterest?
Okay, the first thing that I would suggest you need to understand about your brand. Understand that what is really great about Pinterest is the fact that you can leverage other people's content on Pinterest. So, which is a really great thing because when you start thinking about your ideal clients are people, right? So as people, we go to the grocery store, we go on vacation, we have children. Well, some of us have small children. I don't
Right.
have any small children. Some of us have small children. Some of us has grandparents and stuff like that. We have different things that we are interested in. The first thing you should understand is whom it is that you're targeting. Who is that ideal client that you're looking for? What is it that they are looking for that you can provide? What pain points that they have that you can solve? And then you have your own business on there, but also you supplement that and leverage other content to support the brand and your vision. So that is the first thing you really should be looking for when you're getting on Pinterest.
So I think if I remember correctly, one of my former social media managers, I think she actually created a business Pinterest board for me. Couldn't tell you where it is because because I have my login and that's my board and that's my play area. But so do you find that it's better to have just a Pinterest board or a Pinterest account for your business and then one that's personal and you keep them separate? Or is it okay, like me, to kind of merge the two?
Okay, so there's two thoughts over here, right? I am a proponent of having two separate accounts, but I'm going to give you a caveat to that as well. So I am the type of person that when I'm going into somebody who's curating, I don't want to watch or learn about Timmy's potty training and stuff like that if I'm looking at a business type of account. So these things should be on a personal, okay? So that's the reason why I always suggest that you have a personal account and you have a business account. So the business account, unless your ideal clients have small children and they are really looking for information on how to potty train and stuff, but if it's something that's of interest to you, then no, it should not be on the business account. It should be on a personal account.
Right.
Now, caveat to that, even though I just said you should have two accounts, but the beauty about Pinterest is the fact that you have what is called secret boards. Secret boards are really truly secret boards. What it is that this is where you can collect items. I have a gazillion of secret boards.
I've got a couple myself.
Yeah, I have a gazillion of secret boards. So if you find that it's too much for you to maintain two accounts and there are some things that you really must have, throw them in your secret boards. So that way you can maintain one account. But if you
Sure.
can do two accounts, I would suggest you do two accounts, one for personal and
Or
one for
one for
business.
business.
Mm-hmm.
And the stuff on business obviously is just totally business related. You don't put any crafts or recipes or anything like that on there unless that is your business.
Actually, no. As I mentioned before, remember you're dealing with people. So your ideal client might be interested in crafts. When you start doing your research and you start learning who those ideal clients are, and you get into what are their interests, what are they into, and stuff like that. So
Sure.
my ideal clients are really foodies. So therefore, I have tons of food boards where I curate all kinds of great recipes and so on, because those are the things that are interest to my ideal clients. They are also into high fashion. So
Okay.
I curate that. So that is the caveat to that. So
That makes
everything you
sense.
do on
Okay.
your business is going to be geared towards your ideal client. The fact is you want to curate for your ideal clients on your business page. That's what's so great about Pinterest, because you can leverage other people's content onto your account. So you don't have to be the one that's constantly curating contents. So once you understand how to curate the content, then it becomes so much easier for you to leverage that.
Sure. So, I mean, I post my blogs up there,
Mm-hmm.
but 99.99% of what I pin is from other people. It's quotes that I like. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's around my fitness and bodybuilding. So my ideal client, I have two ideal clients, based on what they need. My coaching clients are going to be moms that want to work at home,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the recipes, the kid-friendly stuff, the do-it-yourself, that kind of stuff is going to appeal to them. But then
Of
I also
course.
have my service-based clients that ideal client is somebody in the health and wellness field. So all my weightlifting, bodybuilding, fitness training, all those boards are going to appeal to them. So I kind of have a mix there. And then I just have
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that I want in there.
Yeah,
So
for the stuff that you want yourself, I would suggest putting them on a secret
making
board.
those secret,
Yeah,
okay.
because of the fact that they're not going to appeal to your ideal clients. So somebody who's
Right.
into a fitness is more into recipes they are looking for is healthy snacks and so on.
Sure.
Mom, yeah, your mom,
They want
they are looking
quick,
for
fast.
productivity information. How
Right.
can they get their business to move very quickly during the nap time? So those are the things
Oh,
that
that's a good
once you
blog
start doing
post right
your
there.
research, I'm sorry.
Oh, you just gave me an idea for a blog post.
Well, there you go. Yeah, this is what this conversation is helping everyone who's with their business and creating that ideal target market. So for somebody like that, your ideal client, those are the things that they're going to be interested in. So therefore, start experimenting on how can you bring value to them on those boards that's going to be of value to them. And that's the beauty
Okay.
of Pinterest. And you know what? You don't have to go and create that blog post, because I'm pretty sure there's a gazillion of blog posts that exists about
I
this
know,
that
but
you
I
can
like to
bring
write my
value.
own too.
And you know what? That's great. And then at this point, that's when you start monetizing. So
Mm-hmm.
that's another value of Pinterest as well. It's the monetizing value.
Right. Do you find that cute, catchy names for your boards and images are key? Or does it really matter what we call our boards and what our cover image looks like?
Okay, so in my coaching program, I have a Pinterest coaching program, and I have a whole section, chapter devoted to that. And I also have a checklist that gives you very quick answer. I am an advocate to not naming anything cutesy. The reason for that is
Okay.
because Pinterest has an IV that goes directly to search engine. It goes to Bing, Yahoo, Google. Google being the behemoth of search engine. So
Right.
when you think about cutesy names, okay, so let me use you as an example. Now that you're looking for energy, you're looking for a recipe for energy bar, right? When you go to Google, what are you going to put in?
Energy bars or energy bar recipes.
Okay, you're going to be very specific. You're not just going to put in energy. So you're going to be very, very specific. So it could be that you're looking for no bake energy bars, or you're looking for
Okay.
cocoa nib energy bars, or organic
Yeah, protein.
coconut
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes
protein.
sense.
So you are very, very specific. So if you were to call one of your boards or your recipe a cutesy name, so what is the likelihood that it's going to pop up on search engine? It's
True. Okay.
very, very, it's going to be very, very, very hard for you to pop up. So
Right.
what I advocate, what I teach is totally different from what's out there, because I train the trainers that are training on Pinterest. And what we do is using search engine. Search engine is your best friend. Let search engine do the heavy lifting for you. So that way you can concentrate on what you do best. So when you are naming your naming convention, it's using keywords. So one of the things that I have another chapter in the coaching program, the Pinterest coaching program that's going to be launching pretty soon, that teaches you how to go about finding keywords that pertain to your industry, and how to use those keywords so you name things. So therefore, once you have these items in place, then you can partake in the IV that goes to search engine. So my number one big thing is no cute name.
Okay.
On my personal account on Pinterest, I have all kinds of cute names. I have for the love of home, for the love of backyard,
Right.
and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because that's my personal account. So I don't really care. But on my
Okay.
business, everything is very specific. So
Search engine oriented. Okay.
yes, everything is search engine oriented, because of the fact that I want search engine to do the heavy lifting for me. So I want to use the IV that Pinterest has. So
Right.
that is one of the trademarks that I teach in the Pinterest coaching program, how to get that IV to work for you.
Wow, this is really, I'm making all these notes. So if you see me looking down, I'm not like being distracted or rude. I'm actually making notes of like, I got to do this, I got to do this. I'm going to have to
I
go
love
back and
it.
re-listen to this call again, because this is really interesting, because
I
I
love
love
it.
Pinterest. And I'm one of those that I won't go on Pinterest for days. And then all of a sudden I will be on it. I will pin 2,000 things.
And you know what,
Do you get
Tracy,
that? It's
I
funny
have to
when I
tell
do
you,
that.
you're not the only one. And
I'm
if you see me
sure.
looking down, it's just I'm looking at you instead
Yeah,
of
no, I
looking at the
know.
camera.
It's hard. So for those of you watching us, it's really hard because like our pictures are kind of in the middle of our computer screens. But
Mm-hmm.
like my
Mm-hmm.
webcam is way at the top, so I have to keep
Mm-hmm.
reminding myself, look at the little circle of the webcam and not the actual picture.
Exactly. I keep forgetting that. I'm like, okay, I'm looking at the screen, and then I'm like, oh, I need to
Yeah,
look
I
up.
know. It's hard because you want that personal connection. I want to see your face. I don't want to be staring into a dot this whole time. So,
Exactly.
how? Okay, I've got to know. How do you become named top pinner by Better Homes and Gardens?
That was such a surprise to me, because I was pinning. Okay, I've always, my philosophy is to curate, and
Okay.
my biggest inspiration is National Geographic. I grew up
Oh,
watching National
I did
Geographic.
too.
Oh my gosh, let me tell you. My bucket list is one day to be a contributor for National Geographic.
Nice.
And I've always loved National Geographic, as I mentioned. So everything that I do when I'm working with client about a brand, that's where I draw my inspiration. So therefore, when you're creating your brand, you're creating your visual content, okay?
Hmm.
Your images, you should be curating images that are worthy, like you're going to enter a contest on National Geographic. So if there's
Okay.
one thing that I can leave with everybody, is curating. There's tons of images, there's tons of content out there. But
Hmm.
the thing is, when you start using Pinterest and checking out the trends, and you start um, collecting your data, okay, Pinterest is fabulous for collecting data, right? So when you start getting into that single datum, and you start seeing it and you start using that, it becomes a totally different ballgame. So I was curating content that was worthy of National Geographic. So,
Nice.
and
Okay.
then I got this email that my content has been selected. So you know how some people, they say, oh, I was entrepreneur of the year and all that stuff, and then you see them going to groups, go vote for me and all that. So it wasn't nothing similar to that. It just, I got this email telling me that I've been selected as the top pinner on Pinterest. And I was like, okay,
Super cool.
how did that come about? And I'm like, okay, I'm
After
not
you pick
complaining.
yourself up off the floor, because I'm sure you fell right out of your chair, because I know I would have.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not complaining. I'll take it. And then a few months later, I got, you know how Pinterest sent those emails out and stuff like that.
Sure.
And then I got an email, and then I looked at that, and it was like board to follow. I'm like,
You stand up and do your little happy dance. Oh my gosh,
oh my God.
look at me.
Yeah, so I printed that. The first thing
Forward
I
it
did was
to everybody you know. Look.
actually I did not tell anybody in case that it was like a mistake or something. So I sent an email, and I'm like, did you guys really selected me? And they're like, yeah, we did select you. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm printing this puppy out, and it's
Now
gonna
I'm
go on my
telling
wall.
everybody, right?
I didn't tell anybody at first. I didn't tell anybody. And then I had a blog at the time, and I just printed it and I put it on the wall. And then I showed it to my mom, and she's like, how much did you get paid? I'm like,
leave it to mom.
I didn't get paid anything. And so that she brought me down to earth, because I was floating on cloud 9. So when she brought me down, I'm like, okay, it's no big deal. They send those emails out every month, you know.
But it is kind of a big deal, because people pay attention to those emails, and they will follow people that are mentioned in those emails. So it is a big deal, because even though you didn't get paid right away for that, down the road, you're going to see money for that, because, you know, it's a kudos. It's a great kudos to have.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago. So a lot of things have changed. Now it's on everything that I do. It's like, hey, here's my credentials.
Exactly.
I did not read a bunch of articles and stuff like that, and now I'm a Pinterest expert. No, here's my credentials. Here are the things that I've been doing, and so on. But anyways, that's how it came about. So
nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. This has been really, really fascinating. I could go on and talk about this for a lot longer, I'm sure, but I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So before we wrap up, do you have any last parting tips and words for us that are now ready to go and redo all our Pinterest boards?
The number one thing that you need to think about Pinterest is about curation. So think of yourself as being a curator, think of Pinterest as your own little museum, that you are collecting things of value for your ideal client. When you are pinning things that are of value to your ideal clients, they're going to come back over and over and over. And then what I teach you guys in the Pinterest coaching program that's coming up is that do not spend so much of your time trying to get followers. Remember, Pinterest is not a social media network,
right?
Like you have on Facebook or whatever network that you guys follow.
Sure.
It's not the same thing. Your number one priority should be about getting repins. And in my program, I have case studies where I show how I have several clients in the past 2 months alone. That was 6 months ago. In 2 months, in less than 60 days, I averaged 1.5 million repins on Pinterest. And the reason for that is because we are curating content.
Wow, and I'm happy to get 2.
Yes. So your focus should be about getting repins on Pinterest.
Okay.
It's not getting followers. Followers is great and everything, but the repins is what you really need to be focusing on. And that is the biggest focus we have in our coaching program. In my Pinterest coaching program, we teach you how to get the repins, what you should be looking for, how to use the keywords, how to use the search engine, how to use the IV that goes directly onto search engine, how to use Pinterest to collect data on your ideal clients, how to find out what it is that's of value to them, how to build your mailing list. We all know your list is where it is at.
Right.
So how to get those ideal clients off Pinterest, off social media, onto your list. So that way you can have a really close relationship with them. So that way you know them so well. You become so good at understanding what their pains are, what their values are, what their core values, what it is that they're looking for. So they become like your best friend. You know more about them than you know about your best friend. So that's what we concentrate on. And that's what I teach into the Pinterest coaching program. And it's going to be launching in the the third week of April.
Okay.
And you can go to my website. It's Cascade Avenue. I currently have something of really great for you guys. When you are going to save images, first of all, you can save images, articles, and videos on Pinterest, not just images. So you can collect all these or three of these items. So I have a checklist that I use personally and also for my clients that I have on my website. It's at Cascade Avenue, CascadeAvenue.com, cascadeavenue.com/blog. When you go on the blog, you'll see the 10 steps to better Pinterest images for profit. What it does, it shows you how to make sure that you have a great call to actions. Your text is legible, that you're able to see your text.
Okay.
Your images is of National Geographic worthy. So it's on my website. So you can go on and download it, and it will help you with pinning images on Pinterest.
Great. And that link should be right down below where you're watching this video. So I'm heading over there as soon as I hit stop on recording, and I'm going to go get that and check that out, because this is really, really cool. I love Pinterest. So this has just been amazing, Maggie. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk to us. And for those of you watching, thank you for joining us. And I hope we'll see you on the next show.
Thank you so much, Tracey. This has been so much fun. And you know what? I want everybody to be on Pinterest. I want everybody to get that traffic. I want everybody to be successful on Pinterest, because you know what? It will be there once you take the time to learn how to use that platform.
I agree. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on the next show.